Nice. How you guys been? Good weekend?
Yeah, good weekend. I don't remember much about it, but I think it was good.
Nice. That means it was great. Nice. Oh, Zion's on here. We got Sam. We got all kinds of friends on here.
Might
Nice.
have to get a bigger screen to fit everybody on today. Huh?
Yeah, we might start having to host these in like movie theaters. Go all in. Nice. Well, we'll just
Triple threat in doubly.
nice. Uh, I was gonna say we can just wait a little bit longer. I was gonna see if Mark J hops on here because we can talk through the the 2-track challenge results. I was gonna do his first since he was one of the first people to submit. But you know what? We don't actually have to go in order, so we're not like
We don't have to wait.
we don't. Thank you, Sam. um,
I'm back.
yeah, you're back. Let me see here. Let me see who's after Mark here. Actually, let's do Kenneth's. Let's see. Okay, let me find. Okay, cool. Let me get the share screen thing happening. All right. Get the chat window.
Looks like a Dale.
Yeah, I have that up for to reference somebody else's. I think it's we've got a new guy in the group. His name's Van, and we're going to be talking about one of his songs. Oh, there's Mark. Nice. We're gonna Mark. We're gonna hit Kenneth's song first, and then we'll jump to yours as far as the track challenge thing goes. All right, let me get this plugged in. Let me turn off my notifications so we don't get people bugging us. All right. All right. I'm gonna play a little bit of this. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear this.
Life is tough, you gotta take care of you. You wanna chill out with something cool, zesty and tasty, just what you need. A zesty soda will do the deed. Hey, 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 the greatest drink that's ever made, the perfect one to save your day. So go, 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 go for lemonade. Sassy, classy, zesty, tasty. Life is better with lemonade. In your house or on the beach, it's the drink that can't be beat. Want a drink not like the rest? A tall lemonade will be the best. Hey, 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 the greatest drink that's ever made, the perfect one to save your day.
All right, cool. Cool. I listened through it. I think it like kind of repeats the same sections after that, right? Yeah. Cool. So let me just read through your comment here. It says that you use vocal and acoustic guitar tracks. This song was for an ad submission. You chose not to use percussion. That's cool. Sweet. Sweet. So when you Kenneth, when when you submitted this, was that it? Was it like just an acoustic guitar vocal?
No, I actually submitted a lot more, not a lot more, but I had drums and a bass, and basically it was just kind of bare bones, drums, bass, acoustic guitar, and vocal, just scratched, just to submit to find out if this was along the lines of what he was looking for, and I got a response back that he thought it should be more in your face. He said it's direct, but he thought it should be more in your face. And I haven't asked him yet what he means by more in your face, but maybe y'all can help me with the understanding of that, because I didn't quite know what he was talking about.
Okay, so
but he wants to do more with it, even maybe co-write. So he must have thought it was at least enough bass there to work with.
Okay, cool. So I think the main reason that I asked about that is that, I mean, depending on how much other instrumentation you had going on in that, the way that you're like kind of like palm muting the guitar kind of doesn't support the vocal. Like you've got that muted guitar happening kind of all the way through.
Yeah.
Which is a cool sound. But for the vibe of the vocal, it sounds like it wants to be this kind of like upbeat, happy thing. Like I can imagine it kind of having like hand claps, like, boom, da, da, boom, da, boom.
Yeah.
Da, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so having that kind of muted guitar all the way through, yeah, kind of like, doesn't feel like it's opening up, and it doesn't feel like a celebration. And I think you're not the only person to do this. There was somebody else that did this, where they said that they took a song that they had already recorded with other instruments and then just like muted those instruments and just tried using like, two of them. And I could tell even in the other person's song that like it sounded like that's what they did. Like I don't feel like they would have made those choices on the two instruments that they sent me. They wouldn't have played it like that if they had thought about it as it just being a 2-track song. They would have like played it differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I did look at the fact that I did need hand claps and some things to liven it up. And I even commented when I sent it in that it probably needed a different vocalist, because I think it needed more energy. But I didn't think about the fact that, and I was planning to put some more into it. But what I did is I did the drums and the guitar and the vocal, and then I made a copy of that for this song challenge.
Right.
And then I went ahead and with the original thing, I went ahead and did some more mixing with some other things, some other elements on that.
Cool.
But when I sent it in, I sent it in just as a draft to see if this was even down the lines of what they were looking for.
Sure.
Because I didn't have any treatment on it. I didn't do any compression, reverb, any neutron or anything. It was just raw.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So you're saying that actually I didn't do a hand mute on the guitar. I rolled up a paper towel and stuck it under the strings.
Nice. Nice.
Because I didn't use just a 2-string chord. I used 3 or 4 strings
sure.
or more in the chording, and which you could probably tell from all the slide sounds going up and down.
Right.
I don't know if there's a way to get rid of those after you've recorded those or not.
Yeah, it can be kind of tedious. It's kind of like having to deal with a singer's breaths. Like if the singer is like doing too many of these kind of like, kind of like big gasps that aren't very musical. Like you kind of, those are just like the string sounds where you have to either manually go down and duck them, or you can maybe sometimes use gates to deal with those. But those didn't bother me.
So what's the suggestion on the guitar? Do you think I should have some sections where I don't play the muted guitar and put something else in there?
Yeah, so let me just listen one more time, just at the very beginning.
Yeah, and I actually left about 4 to 6 bars in the beginning for putting some other intro in too.
Okay, cool.
You want Life is tough, you gotta take care of you. You wanna chill out with something cool, zesty and tasty, just what you need. A zesty soda will do the deed. Hey, 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 the greatest drink.
Okay, so the main focus of this 2-track challenge was to make it sound like within the first like couple of bars, make it sound like it's a professional recording, just like any other, 2-track ballad song or whatever that you hear out there. Like, when you hear, I don't know, like Eric Clapton's "Wonderful Tonight" or something like that. I think that starts kind of minimal. I can't remember how many tracks are at the beginning, or like any other like acoustic vocal or something like that. You can immediately tell that this is like a professional recording, and that's kind of like the thing. That's again like the main focus of this is like, does it sound like from the very first bit that we are hearing kind of like a demo? Does it sound like a demo, or does it sound like a professional recording? And I think some of the things that you could do in this, regardless of like kind of what the end purpose is, just talking kind of recording, mixing,
Right.
treatment. Yeah. You double tracked those acoustic guitars,
Well,
or is it just one?
the vocals, I actually did 4 takes on vocals and I only used 2 of them. So those are 2 entirely different vocals.
Okay, and the acoustic guitar.
They happen to line up pretty good.
Yeah.
The other ones didn't necessarily line up pretty good except for the choruses, but I thought I could use those later for additional chorus. But the guitars, after I did about 3 takes on the guitars, I couldn't I couldn't reproduce, the exact beats every time. So what I did is I just duplicated the one acoustic guitar. So I have 2 guitar tracks, but they're both really duplicates.
Okay, so it's one performance that you just doubled.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, really when you double, like when you just duplicate a track and you don't change anything about it, you're not really going to get anything added, any added benefit other than it just being louder.
Yeah.
It'll really just increase the volume of it. But you can do things with duplication where if you duplicate one performance, you can treat one track differently. You can EQ, you could do things like, really focus on mixing the low end of one track and really focus on mixing the high end of the other and kind of use those to blend together in an interesting way. Yeah. So, I mean, let me think.
Let's say ideally I should have 2 separate recordings of the guitar.
Yeah, I mean it's not required. I'm trying to, because there's examples of like people just playing one acoustic guitar and singing one vocal, and it still sounds great. You know what I mean? In this instance, I mean, if it was me, if I was recording this, I would have probably double tracked the acoustic guitars, panned them hard right, hard left, and then left the vocal in the center. That would have like, with just those 3 things, you would have like given the impression of the entire stereo field. You'd have one guitar hard left, one hard right, and the vocal in the center. Right now, you've got all your tracks right in mono.
Well, I did pan the guitars left and right to begin with, and then I thought, well, maybe for this exercise, you didn't want us to do anything like that, so I just
oh no
that on center. Yeah.
Oh, don't second guess yourself, Kenneth. look at Mark Stone. He pushed the envelope all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
I've got this psychological problem. I've always been a rules person. I've tried to follow the rules, and so Mark, he's more of a free spirit.
right. We're gonna have to get you guys to change places. I need you to push the envelope a little bit more, and I'm gonna have to rein Mark Stone in a bit.
No, don't rein him in. He's cool.
Oh yeah, you guys are all great. Mark, never follow the rules.
You should work together. Maybe that solves the whole problem.
There you go. Yeah, just have Mark Stone do all your mixing.
The Mark gets tamed down a bit, and if you mix the two of you together, maybe get
a good team.
good results.
Nah, can you imagine how great everyone will think all your work is if you just let me run free? I'm just
I know. It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of going back to your thing, kind of, yeah, I would try to play with using panning a bit more in this, and then yeah, I think I would have tried to double track, even though I know that the rhythm, that eighth note rhythm, like kind of making that tight is a bit challenging. Yeah, I would still try to aim for that. And then maybe, I mean, I would have to see like your EQ on the acoustic guitar, but I think there's more that you could do in the EQ and compression to really kind of like make those guitars feel like they're forward. Like right now they feel very in the back. And then one other note, you've got a lot of vocal effects on your vocal, but your guitar is really dry. So there's this like kind of like disconnect of that. It sounds like your guitar was recorded in a really dry room and your vocals like in a really big room. So they don't sound like they're in the same space, which you can use as an effect to your benefit. But you want to be thinking about those things when, like, you know, if this is just going to be a 2-track recording, is that how you want to present it from beat one? That like these two things are not in the same room.
Yeah, I tried to lay back a little bit on the reverb. I think I left it only about 15%.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I could have gone more. But I did put a reverb on the master, or did I?
Oh.
Yeah, I put a compression and EQ.
Yeah.
On the master, but I don't think I put a reverb on the master. I think the reverbs are just separate.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I think those would be my starting spots.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that's a good start. Let's move on to Mark J's. Let's see, right here. Let's see. I didn't mean to jump like that. I was trying to mouse down and it clicked there. Hey. All right, this thing's going crazy on me. I didn't hit anything that time. All right. So Mark, first thing I want to say is I really dig the tone of this acoustic guitar. It's kind of like lo-fi singer-songwriter-y, but it kind of reminds me of do you guys know that song Pink Moon by Nick Drake? it was used like, it was like in a really big VW ad like a long time ago, but it kind of, it's one of those songs, I think it's from like the 70s, but it kind of like blew up again in that VW ad, like, 20 years later. I'm just going to play a little bit of it, and then I'll probably have to cut it out for the replay. So anybody that's rewatching this, you'll want to look this up. It's Pink Moon by Nick Drake. So I'm just going to play a little bit of it. Listen for the guitar tone. So you kind of hear it. It's kind of got that, I think there's like a guitar in there that's got like a drop D droning thing, but it's kind of a dry acoustic guitar. It's not like super hi-fi. It's just, it reminded me of yours a little bit in a cool way. But just listening to that, everybody, you can like hear, like when that vocal comes in, like you can just tell that there's like, that's a professional recording. That's just like, that's kind of what we're after. Like that whole thing is being carried by maybe 2 acoustic guitars depending, and that one vocal, and it just sounds, and that's what that VW ad was just that, like it was somebody driving down the road and it was just those 2 things. So here, let's go back to yours really quick. Okay, so I think that acoustic guitar is really well done. There's no like right and wrong way for an acoustic guitar to sound, but like I said, like when I hear that, like it makes me like, I feel like an emotional connection to that. You know what I mean? I'm not like listening and being like, that thing sounds muddy or whatever. It's like, it's not, I don't know. It reminded me of that Nick Drake thing and I liked it. And that's really kind of all that matters. Other people might disagree, but I like it. And I think it's got like a tone and a personality to it. I don't know if I would have chosen congas to go with this. Not that it sounds bad, but it's the way that you're playing that acoustic guitar makes it challenging to do the congas with it, because the guitar part is syncopated. It's that ding 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 ding, and to like really line up those congas in that rhythm, like you have to be on it, right? It's not, I mean, you could have just like had just like a just a quarter note pulse, and that might have been like a better way to go, not necessarily with congas, but just if you were going to do percussion, let your percussion be the simple thing that kind of holds the whole thing together, and then your guitar can kind of be syncopated over that, instead of trying to do 2 things that are both doing this like dun, 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 that's a tough thing to lock in. And then I think like a lot of times, like in different mixes, I feel, especially like up and coming producers and mixers like ourselves, you can like immediately tell what the person who was mixing it or playing it, where their insecurities are. Like I could tell you've got those congas like way in the back, and they're like kind of like hiding, they're hiding behind that acoustic guitar. Yeah, I can just tell like that's the thing that you were kind of like insecure about, and it kind of, when you've only got 2 tracks, you can't really have one like hiding behind the other, unless like you chose just to do like an acoustic guitar feature, and like maybe you just had like an organ pad kind of like, just supporting it in the back. But yeah, I would retry this and try something other than congas, or yeah, it could still be percussion, but maybe just keep it like something simple. Like I don't know if you were in on that or if you saw the demo that I did of like my example of what the 2-track recording could be, and it was just like acoustic guitars and 1 bass drum, right? And then my bass drum was just doing like just quarter notes, but I spent a lot of time on that bass drum and tried to make it sound as professional as possible. You know what I mean? So I would do something like that. Just make the congas or whatever, replace those congas with something else, another part, and just really focus on like making those sound as good as you can. And then that's kind of like my approach is, when I've got these like 2-track challenges that I'm doing with myself or whatever, if it was percussion and acoustic guitar, for example, I would just solo those acoustic guitars, make them sound as awesome as possible, and then go over and just solo like my bass drum and just make that sound as awesome as possible, and then make them work together, yeah, a lot of like mixers and people will tell you like don't spend too much time like soloing your tracks, like because the only thing that really matters is that everything works together as a whole. But I feel like there's a lot of things that you can't hear unless you solo those tracks, like things just won't work, especially like in the low end. It's really difficult when you've got like everybody playing and you're trying to like, get that bass drum to work, or you're trying to get the bass guitar to work right. Like I say just solo it and kind of like start carving away, and then bring it back into the mix, yeah, but otherwise I think it's cool. Let's see here. I saw that you made some headway on in your DAW, like you were able to learn to do some effects channel routing and stuff like that. That's really cool. I think that's worth it right there, because that's something that you can carry on into like all these future sessions, I love that. Yeah, awesome. All right, let's go over to, I think the last one here will be Vans. He's not on right now, but let's check.
Josh,
Yeah.
I didn't submit anything this week, but I dropped Dropbox links in the Dropbox link in the chat.
Okay.
Maybe there's room to listen to that. It's also it's 2 tracks, I believe.
Yeah, let's do that now since you're on here. Nice. Is one of those acoustic guitars in drop D? Do you know? Oh, hold on. You're muted. Hold on.
It's in open C tuning.
Open C. Okay. I was
It's
trying
the same tuning as normally when you play slide guitar, open E or open D. So it's C, G, C from bottom to high.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's C, G, C, G, C, G, C, E, G, C. So that's.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I heard a bass guitar in there, like really low, but I think it was just.
I modified that guitar. The lowest string on the guitar is a bass guitar string.
Okay.
It's totally modified to play because I used to have it as a normal Western guitar.
Yeah.
But then I started to tuning it lower and lower, and it started sounding to me like the wood of the guitar. It started to resonate more when it was tuned lower.
That's cool. Hey.
But then the strings got kind of sloppy.
Right.
But then I changed it, so it's really the highest string is a normal second string of the guitar and things like that. So
that's cool. You see, Kenneth, you see how Sem like bent the rules. He didn't have a bass guitar here, but he put a bass guitar string on his guitar so that he could have that.
That's very like creative.
Two guitars because I use sort of stereo delay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that was really cool. I think that's real creative, and I've never really run across somebody that did a bottom up C tuning on a guitar. That's interesting.
Yeah, that really sounded great, and those acoustic guitars sounded good. It was like pushing the rules a little bit because you had like kind of two unique acoustic guitar parts and the harmonica. But
it's one guitar, but I used delay, and then I played melody parts, and they were just played one time more to the right, and other notes were played more to the left.
Wait, how many tracks of acoustic guitar did you play?
One.
Wait, that was one performance? Just with delay on it?
Yes.
Hold on, I got to listen back to that.
Yes, but I'm fingerstyle guitar specialist, eh?
Yeah. Hold on.
That's my specialty. I have other things.
No, hang on. Those are two different guitar performances. Like especially like right here. Yeah, I think you've got. I mean, it's okay. It sounds great, and the point is that it's about like making the recording sound professional, which I think you've done. But I think that's more than just delay.
Okay, then what do you think of this one? Do you think this is one or two guitars? Wait, where's my zoom view?
All right, we'll listen to this one, and then I've got to get over to
just a little bit, just a
little bit.
Just listen 20 seconds, and then you can decide if it's one or two guitars.
mean, yeah, that definitely sounds like one that's really pretty. That you had some really cool note choices and chord movements in there. That's really good.
Yes. But it's also a matter of if you play with your fingers and you touch the strings in all kind of different ways, it starts sounding like more guitars.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's really nice.
That's one part of the trick. That's also that's a few. I don't know if you happen to know the guitar player Tommy Emmanuel.
No, I don't.
You should listen to him. He's sort of not a real friend, but I've learned a lot from him. He's do you know Chet Atkins?
Yeah. My dad was a big Chet Atkins fan.
My man, yeah.
He's Chet Atkins, but then 10 times as good.
Right.
And Chet Atkins said that himself.
Right. That's cool. Well, I mean, EQ wise and compression wise, kind of like going back to the challenge. I don't really have any notes. I think it really does. Your recordings sound really good, Sam.
Yeah, and the fun thing is that I actually didn't do anything EQ wise.
Oh, that's cool.
And the thing I did was make sure that the initial sound was good.
Mic placement is everything, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was recorded with, I don't know if I have it here. Yes. Do you see this thing?
Oh, really? With like one of those like
with these two mics.
That's crazy. I love that.
And this thing, I recorded so many other fingerstyle players with it also, and they were all totally blown away by the sound they got compared to all kind of expensive mics, and then you had all kind of phase problems, and it didn't sound as full. And with this one, just have it 30 centimeters from your guitar, and you have a great sound.
Yeah, is that a Zoom, or what are those called?
It's Zoom H2. It's the 2008 model. So now they look a lot more modern, and but this one still works. So it's really I bring it in on every occasion and things like that, because I can make professional recordings with it everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm impressed by that. That's
strange.
Cool. All right, let's move over
to €200. So you have €200.
Nice. Let's move over to Van's song before we run out of time here. Let's listen to a bit of this.
Yes.
So far away, I might seem so far away, but feel me right there, right now. Always right there with you. So long ago, it feels like it was so long ago. Our first kiss, but go there right now, and I'll be right there with you.
All right, I'm gonna pause it right there. That's I really like this song, and I think Van's, the way that he recorded his vocal and his voice is fantastic. Yeah, I think the vocal is super spot on in this. I really liked it. I don't know if he EQ'd anything to like really bring out the whatever the range in his voice is, where that grit kind of lives. You know, he's kind of got that vocal fry element to his voice. Yeah, Mark, the sweet spot, whatever that sweet spot in his voice, it sounds like he might have EQ'd that to like embellish that, not embellish it. That sounds like, but just like bring focus to it, to like to bring that out a little bit more in a good way. Yeah, so I think the vocal is spot on. There was one just on the vocal. There was one.
Time gives and time takes away. Life makes no, but feel me right there, right now.
I thought that I heard something like in the low register, but it sounds pretty clean. The big thing I think on this one that could use some help is that piano. There's something to be said about like kind of like muted piano sounds like this. But I think it's kind of, if you're gonna go with like this kind of like muted piano sound, like it almost sounds like it's like a grand piano, but with the lid closed on it instead of like the lid open, right? It's got like this kind of like muted sound to it. I think if you're going to go for that sound, you still need to EQ it, or I would like to EQ it and compress it in a way where there's a bit more attack. So it's kind of like this interesting sound of like the sound of a muted piano, but you have these elements of like percussion, like you hear where the chords are hitting, especially when it's just going to be a piano and vocal. Again, it doesn't need to be that way, but there's something that basically sounds like a fantastic vocal and then this kind of like muted piano that's not really, there sounds like there's this disconnect. So I'd like to make the piano sound as interesting as his vocal. I think that's kind of like my main thing, whatever that would be. The other thing that could be done in a creative way, and it wouldn't be breaking the rules on this challenge at all, is if he didn't record that piano that way, and by chance like he recorded it with the lid open, or if it was like if it's a virtual instrument, and he happened to like EQ it to make it sound like mellow, muddy like it is now, it would be kind of cool to start the song that way, and then when the chorus hits, have the EQ kind of turn off so that it sounds like full range when the chorus kind of comes in. So it like opens up in this cool way. Those are kind of like creative choices that you can make to make the song have interest throughout. Yeah. I was trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, let me just listen to the beginning one more time.
Oh.
Okay, and then one other thing, I think the panning on the piano is a little unbalanced right now, and I noticed it on my meter too. It's louder. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure I was referencing the right ear. It's louder on the left side than it is the right. And if you're going to have like one instrument, you got to make sure that it's balanced on both sides, because there's a lot of mono speakers out there that'll not sum correctly, or they'll cancel each other out in weird ways. So, or if like by chance somebody's listening in a stereo situation, they just happen to be closer to the right speaker than the left, it's going to sound like there's barely any piano over there, where the piano is super loud on the left side. Yeah, so I would just watch the panning, or make sure that the piano is balanced within itself. And then, yeah, I think I would just want that piano louder, and maybe just play with the compression a little bit to see if I can just make that piano just sound more present. Yeah, just have it be like more of a partner with that vocal instead of being kind of sitting so far back. I think that's my only notes though. I really like the song. I think the lyrics and everything are really good. Yeah. Anybody have anything to? Oh, I know. I was going to talk back about Mark's thing. Did I see Mark? Were you using an AEA mic? Is that what that mic was? Was it you?
Yeah, the Rode.
Oh, was it a Rode?
Right. Yeah.
What was that called? It was like a Novell or something like that.
I don't remember.
You put it.
Yeah, I just got these mics from somebody who was closing out their studio. Yeah, they're just Rode Studio condenser mics, NT5s.
Oh yeah.
And then they're upgraded, which makes a huge difference. You know, I wanted to say before, the way I was able to finally get that tone, I recorded the guitar a bunch of times and I wasn't happy with the tone at all. And then finally I had one mic right in front of the sound hole and the other one was more over here. And I finally got the tone that I wanted and that I used.
Oh, I was going to ask, on that note, I noticed in your comments that you said that you had trouble comping the takes together. Was that yours? Hold on. Oh yeah, you said I learned that it can be difficult to impossible to comp on different takes where the mic placement or volume has been adjusted.
Right.
So is that kind of what was happening? Is you were doing a full take, trying out one mic placement, and then you did another full take, and then you were trying to comp those? Yeah. So you want to like, you want to try like what I do when I'm like trying different mic placements, trying to get my sound, is I'll just play little bits. You know, I'll play like 10 seconds of an idea and then do my full take. So that way, like you can actually comp later when you're doing your full takes, you know?
Right. That's
yeah.
a good idea.
Right. Then you're not, because you know, how much of a bummer would it be if like you get like your actual perfect performance all the way through, but it's not with the ideal mic placement, you know? You don't want to kind of waste that that creative energy, you know, because we have like two minds when we're working like this. We've got like our engineer mind where we're thinking about mic placement and, you know, keeping things in phase and all that. And then we've got like the musician part of us who's like not wanting to like burn through all of our good creative energy. I recently heard a story with the drummer Hal Blaine. He was being interviewed. Hal Blaine like played on a bunch of the early like Beach Boys hits. I may have told this story before. And who's the producer that is in prison now because he shot somebody? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Crazy Hair.
It'll come to us, right?
Yeah, Walt. He's known for like the Wall of Sound. That was like his like production style.
Yes.
Man, why can I not think of this guy's name? Anyway, it's that guy. No, not Gary Glitter. Yeah, that's gonna eat me up. Anyway, he would when he was rehearsing the band, you know, back when, you know, I think it was for like the Beach Boys and this thing that he was talking about. He would actually have like a separate drummer there just to rehearse with the band, and then he would once the band was tight and everything was ready, the mics were in the right spots, he got all the sounds, then he would like bring in Hal Blaine, so Hal Blaine didn't like waste all of his creative energy, you know, and get like kind of like bored and tired by the time the actual take happened. So I thought that was interesting and something that we should keep in mind, especially when we're recording ourselves, that we don't want to be Phil Spector. Thank you. Yeah, it was Phil Spector, that crazy guy. Yeah, so just something to keep in mind when you're you know, trying to be the engineer and the session musician at the same time.
Well, it was Phil Spector's brother, Ronald Spector.
Wait,
according to somebody.
Wait, is that a like a rumor that
No, it's just I'm just trying to play off the marks.
Oh, that's funny. All right, we got anything else before we hop off here?
Who was the beautiful song from that piano song? Because I didn't recognize the name. Is he new in the group or?
Yeah, he's new. His name is Van Powell. Van. Oh wait, that's Mark's. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his last name's Powell. Vipo. Yeah, yeah, he's new in the group.
Okay, I'm gonna reach out to him in the Facebook group then.
Yeah, yeah. He's got some, I've heard some of his other stuff. He's got some really good stuff. I think he's working on his production chops though.
He sings exactly the way I would love to be able to sing, but I can't.
Me too. Me too. He does have a great voice.
Yeah, he's smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also it's just like with the way that young girl Billie Eilish, how
Oh.
she recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite simple, the setup her brother uses, and he doesn't use much EQ, just a little bit of compression, but
Yep.
it's just the mic placement, and then you get you gotta put it exactly right to get the good things out of the voice.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, sometimes like a lot of times when you've got the right voice and you've got the right instrument, like you just have to get out of the way and just record it and
Yes.
just not mess it up. Yeah. All right, kids. I will see you guys next week. Great work on all this. Really, everybody. Very good.
Good
right,
to be back again.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Take
all right.
care.
I will see you later.
Bye-bye.